I am very happy to be here this afternoon, particularly because many of you probably don't know who Faro Technologies is. Faro Technologies was not in the geospatial field about 3 years ago, and due to some technology innovation, we've been able to enter this space, and so that's what I'm going to talk about today, technology innovation. It's an exciting event for me particularly to share Faro's history and what we're doing in technology innovation. You know, I'm really excited because I really believe we are at the beginning of something huge. There's been 3D data around for years, but that data hasn't been very rich or very dense data. And with the advent of new technology, there's much more rich data sets that are being used in many different areas. If you look at a Google search just for the word 3D, you'll find over 8.5 billion hits just on that term alone. I did that a few weeks ago. I then did it again just recently, and I got 10 billion hits. So I say there's something really going out in the market where people want 3D data, and there's all kinds of applications for it. It used to be that rich data sets were part of the engineering community, traditionally in manufacturing, collecting large point cloud data on individual components, whether it be cars or airplanes or some sort of consumer product. And that is reaching beyond that engineering community and going out to many different other new communities. So it's creating new communities and reshaping some of the old communities in the use of 3D data. We have a pretty interesting project here that we worked with, Stratos, Red Bull Stratos, that I'm going to show you a video of later, where they're using 3D data to map out the suit of this gentleman who's doing a free fall from space, the highest free fall ever recorded. Likewise, you see in the gaming industry or the movie industry use of 3D data sets now, much richer than what they could have before, giving them faster speed and creating objects or environments that they want to share with the rest of the world. So if you look at land surveying, and I think a lot of people here are used to traditional instruments, the traditional instruments, of course, made their way along a path of innovation, and during that path, I think people realized that there's a greater need for more disruptive technology, being able to bring, again, larger data sets into the projects. And so what we've done at Faro Technologies is with 3D laser scanning, we believe we are disrupting the marketplace in a way which will be the future of land surveying. Terrestrial laser scanning, like all technologies, start out very rude and crude. They're expensive. They're used by the technologists who really want to experiment and be at the forefront of new technology. Just a couple years ago, the technology that we have, that you see up here now, was very large, complex, was over a six-figure investment for people, and so that technology took a long while to adopt. However, about 3 years ago, we introduced the Faro Focus 3D, and this product came in at a fraction of the weight, a fraction of the size, and 2.5 times less cost. So all of a sudden, it opened itself up, laser scanning up to new markets that it just wasn't practical for before. So some of the applications that you see here, heritage, piping, shipping, architecture, really people wanting to preserve historical artifacts, either full environments or individual objects. Forensics and all sorts of applications that are now really becoming popular for laser scanning, giving people much more data, much quicker. Of course, we have a long way to go. 3D laser scanning is really still in its infancy. People still have concerns about affordability, even though we've brought the cost down quite dramatically. Affordability is still an issue that we're addressing. Complexity of use. When you think about what kind of data you're getting out of 3D laser scanners, it's a massive amount of data. And if you've ever done reverse engineering using data on a single object, you know how complex the use of that data is. So now extending that beyond single objects into full-scale environments makes the challenges for users that much more difficult. But that's changing very rapidly. Integration of technology. People are trying to find ways, how do we integrate this technology into current systems that we have? So all of these things are topics of concern for our customers that, of course, we're listening. We hear it loud and clear, and we're working on solving those problems. We have a breeding ground within Faro called Faro Labs, where we take in ideas from our customers and figure out how do we tackle those problems for the customers so that we can provide the best possible solution. 5 areas that we're currently looking at. Lower cost solutions. Laser scanning has other complementary technologies that we're seeing in the marketplace that I'll share with you a little bit in a minute. Simplified solutions. I mentioned the complexity of using large data sets. We're trying to work on that. Mobility, and I think you've seen it if you've gone out in the exhibition hall. There's a lot of new adaptations of the technology with UAVs, mobile mapping solutions, and so people are learning how to integrate laser scanning technology into all sorts of mobile platforms. Last but not least, fourth here is automation. Automation, everybody is looking at ways to be more efficient, and no different in laser scanning. People are looking at automated solutions, and there's great opportunities there for increasing the proliferation of laser scanning technology. Last but not least, and I've heard it a few times up here from some of the other speakers, is complexity of data and how you share information. Cloud computing is becoming the buzzword that is now, I guess, more than a buzzword, working its way mainstream. And so that's an important part of laser scanning solutions, delivering that data set not only locally from the field into the office, but also regionally and even globally to multinationals that have plants spread across the globe. When we look at low-cost solutions, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of new technologies, complementary technologies, and people are trying to figure out on their own ways to create solutions. The Xbox laser scanner, the Xbox solution, for example, a consumer product that costs a couple $100s now, where people are using that in conjunction with software to be able to actually do 3D mapping. So again, the 3D world is all around us. The consumers are adopting it, and that's moving into all new sorts of applications. Simplifying the solution is very difficult. However, we're working hard at it through a web store, a store where we can share applications where individuals, much like Apple App Store that I'm sure many people know of, being able to create individual applications so that people don't have to learn very complex software packages. If somebody has a very finite problem that they want to solve, why not just deliver that particular solution to them? They don't need a full package of software. So we've implemented that system. Technology innovators also look at mobility. Again, there's all kinds of solutions that I've seen out in the exhibit hall alone. There'll be many more to come, I'm sure. And so that's exciting. The more mobile we are, the more places that we can get to. A lot of aerial mapping that takes place, you get a lot of top-down views, but getting into areas that are difficult to reach is great application for mobile solutions. I'm going to show you a little bit on automation. We're working hard at automating things. Oftentimes you've got mapping that needs to be done, and that's done in times a day where there's so much going on that there's a lot of people and interferences that you don't want to capture in your data. So if you have a automated system, something robotic, you can take it out and scan at night, for example. Likewise, you may be in a hazardous environment where you don't want to put somebody in harm's way. Automation plays a big part of that. So we're working hard at automating things. And if I can show you a little video of that right now. So this is in our Faro labs. It's a simple robot roaming a facility. So I think more and more you're going to start seeing companies introduce such solutions. And again, at the end of the project, you've got a complete scan, no human interaction, so from an efficiency standpoint, you've got huge gains. Last but not least, again, sharing and collaboration. There's many, many global companies looking at finding ways to share data across the globe. We've developed a software interface that is web-based called WebShare. Allows users to scan, upload the data directly into the WebShare website so that the data can be accessed by anybody anywhere around the world. I mentioned this Red Bull Stratus project earlier. I'm going to end with this particular video. I think it's a great video because it represents a couple things. Number one, the ability and the willingness of humans to innovate and take risk. Without risk, I don't think you get anywhere. This gentleman's going to show us that he's willing to take a lot of risks. That is pretty incredible. I'm not going to do it, but you know. And just innovation in general, right? Let me play the video for you. I think you'll find it pretty entertaining.
Sometimes you have to get up really high. The smaller you are, I'm going home now.
So from a concept, then we draw everything out in SolidWorks using HP workstations. Then when we're getting the suits, we're looking at trying to scan those images of the suits to get an accurate 3D model. So utilizing the Faro scanner, we're able to scan and create that image. Then by taking Geomagic 3D systems, we're able to wrap that and create a 3D model that we can put back into SolidWorks, do computational fluid dynamics, and then show that suit in free fall to do the calculations in advance before the jump to get an idea of what's going to happen to Felix in free fall. And they're looking at how to get people up into space. We're really looking with Red Bull Stratos and Sage Fisher at how to get people down, looking at the safety systems and what's required. Systems like Faro really help us to be able to utilize the tools to be able to do the analysis and testing of a lot of that data. Where we're going in the future is to utilize a lot of the tools that Faro has on hand to be able to have the right tools, and Faro is definitely the right tool.
So pretty incredible. I think in closing, it's safe to say technology, drives a lot of innovation. It opens up new markets for us all, and I think there's a lot that's going to be done in the future in geospatial. So we're excited very much to participate, and I thank you for your time.